The scream tore through the night. It came from deep inside the woods, a sharp, choking cry that cut off too suddenly. When the sound faded, the only thing left was the slow creak of the rope hanging over the old well swaying, as if someone, or something, had just climbed out. Mia froze in place. Her flashlight flickered over the moss-covered stones of the well. She could see the shape of the bucket, dripping with black water, and the rope stretching down into darkness. Then a whisper. "Mia!" Her breath caught in her throat. The voice came from inside the well. She stumbled back, her heart pounding so loud she could barely hear herself think. "Who's there?" she whispered. Silence. And then a wet, dragging sound, like hands pulling against the stones from below. Something was climbing up. Mia screamed and turned to run, but before she could take a step, a pale, gray hand shot out from the well, gripping the edge. Its fingers were long, bony, and covered in slime. The thing inside the well began to pull itself up, its face still hidden, and as the air turned ice-cold around her, the voice came again, clearer this time. "Why did you look?" The ground shook beneath her feet. Mia stumbled back, dropped her flashlight, and watched it roll toward the well's edge, the beam shining straight down into the black hole below. For a split second, she saw it. A face, white as bone with hollow black eyes, staring up at her. Then everything went dark. Earlier that day, it had started as a dare. Mia and her two friends, Noah and Lily, were exploring the old forest behind their neighborhood, the one their parents always warned them about. Everyone in town said it was haunted, but kids never believed that kind of thing until they saw the well. It stood in a small clearing, hidden behind twisted trees and overgrown grass. The stones were cracked and green with moss. A wooden roof leaned to one side, and a sign, so old the paint had faded, still hung from a nail. 3 words scratched into the surface read, "Don't look inside." "Creepy," Noah said, tossing a rock at it. "It's probably just old." Lily frowned. "No, seriously. My grandma told me about this well. She said a girl fell in 100 years ago and never came out." "Then who put up the sign?" Mia asked. Lily shrugged. "They say it's cursed. If you look inside, you'll see her." Noah laughed. "Yeah, right. Like some zombie ghost girls just chillin' down there waiting for someone to peek." But as they got closer, the air grew colder. The forest suddenly felt too quiet. No birds. No wind. Just silence. Mia rubbed her arms. "Let's just go." "Scared?" Noah teased, leaning over the edge. Mia's heart skipped. "Noah, don't." He laughed again and looked straight down. "See? Nothing but dark." He stopped. "What?" Lily asked. Noah leaned closer. "Wait, I think I see something." Mia felt her stomach twist. "Noah, get back." But he didn't move. His eyes widened, his body stiffened. And then he stumbled backward, tripping over the roots and hitting the ground hard. "What did you see?" Lily shouted, running to him. Noah sat up slowly. His face was pale. "There's someone down there." Mia's mouth went dry. "What do you mean?" He looked at her, eyes wide with fear. She looked right back at me. That night, Mia couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Noah's face, that look of terror. Then she heard it, a faint scratching sound, coming from the window. She sat up in bed, staring at the glass. There was nothing there, just her reflection in the dark. Then she heard it again. This time, it wasn't scratching. It was dripping. Mia turned toward her bedroom door. The sound was coming from the hallway, slow, steady drips of water hitting the floor. Her chest tightened. She grabbed her flashlight and stepped out of bed. The sound grew louder as she crept toward the stairs. Drip, drip, drip. The droplets led toward the front door, and then out onto the porch. She followed them, barefoot, shivering in the cold night air. They led into the woods, and at the end of the trail stood the well. Her stomach dropped. "No," she whispered. "It can't be." But she couldn't turn back. Something, maybe curiosity, maybe fear, pulled her closer. As she reached the edge, her flashlight flickered. The well looked even older now, the rope still swinging, the bucket still dripping black water. Then she heard it. "Noah." Her breath caught. It was Lily's voice. She leaned over the edge, shining her light down, and that's when she saw a reflection. Not her own. It was a face, pale, soaked, and smiling. Mia stumbled backward, her breath caught in her throat. The pale face in the well stared back at her, its hollow eyes glowing faintly in the dark. For a moment, she couldn't move. The face began to tilt its head slowly, as if studying her. Then came the whisper again, her own name, stretched and broken. Maya! She turned and ran. Branches whipped her arms and face as she sprinted through the forest. The trees seemed to lean in, closing around her. She didn't stop running until she burst into her backyard, falling onto the grass. The night was silent again. Only her gasping filled the air. When she looked back toward the woods, the darkness seemed deeper than before, like the forest itself was watching her. Mia didn't sleep that night. Every creak of her house made her jump. She thought she heard something scratching against her window, but she didn't dare look. The next morning, her mother found muddy footprints on the porch. "Were you outside last night?" her mom asked, frowning. Mia shook her head. "No, Mom. I swear." Her mother sighed. "Probably an animal," she said, but her voice trembled slightly. Mia went to check on Noah and Lily after breakfast. Noah wouldn't open his front door. Through the crack, she saw his eyes, red and wide with fear. "It's in my dreams," he whispered. "The well. Every night, I see her face. She's calling me." Then he slammed the door shut. Lily was no better. She sat on her porch steps, staring at the woods. "No one should have gone near that well," she said. "My grandma told me it's cursed. They say a girl fell in a long time ago, and no one ever found her. Some people think she still lives down there, waiting for someone to look inside." Mia tried to tell herself it wasn't real. Maybe it was just an old story meant to scare kids. But that night, as she lay in bed, she heard the dripping again. Slow, steady, drip, drip, drip. She turned on her lamp. The sound was coming from her closet. Her heart thudded in her chest as she walked over and opened the door. The light flickered, and she saw it. Water stains on the floor, forming a trail that led behind her dresser. She knelt, reached down, and pulled the dresser slightly away from the wall. A wet handprint smeared across the wall. Mia gasped and stumbled back. Her lamp flickered out completely. In the dark, she heard it again, the same whisper from the woods. "Maya!" Her knees shook. "Who's there?" The whisper turned into soft laughter. Then silence. The next day, Mia told her mom she didn't feel well and stayed home from school. She couldn't stop thinking about that handprint. Was it real? Had someone or something followed her home? She decided to go back to the woods. She needed to see the well again, to prove it was just her imagination. Maybe if she looked one more time, she'd realize there was nothing there. It was late afternoon when she reached the clearing. The well looked older now, like it had aged overnight. Moss covered its stones. The rope was gone. The air was still, too still. Not even the birds sang. Mia peered over the edge. It was so dark she couldn't see the bottom. She leaned a little closer. Then she saw it. A face again, but not the same one as before. This one was smiling. And right behind it, a shadow moved, something tall and thin crawling up the side of the well. Mia gasped and stepped back. The thing reached the rim and grabbed it with a wet hand. The skin was pale and stretched, the fingers too long. It began to pull itself up. Mia screamed and ran. But the forest didn't seem the same. The paths were different, twisting and looping. The trees whispered her name. When she finally reached home, the sun was gone. She slammed the door behind her, locked it, and pressed her back against it. She listened. Nothing. Then, drip, 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 from upstairs. Her stomach dropped. The sound was coming from the attic. Slowly, she climbed the stairs, one trembling step at a time. The dripping grew louder, mixing with the faint sound of breathing. When she reached the attic door, she froze. There were wet footprints leading up to it. Her hand shook as she reached for the knob. It turned by itself. The door creaked open. Cold air rushed out, smelling of dirt and old water. In the darkness, she saw a figure standing there, tall, thin, and dripping wet. It smiled at her with hollow eyes. "Maya!" She screamed, and the attic light burst, plunging everything into darkness. To be continued.